that does it. Yeah, that did it. Okay. Now it says, do you want to end the stream? But we haven't started the stream.
Wait, it did. It just started.
Okay, so are we here? Hi, everybody. Hopefully we're here. Sorry about that. It looks like YouTube changed my my streaming key without letting me know. I've used the same key for like a year. So that was a surprise. Sorry about that. Glad we got it figured out. On the fly, no less, and it only took 4 minutes. So if you're going to have a technical difficulty, that's the one to have, I say. All right, welcome everybody. Glad you could be here. Sorry for the snafu at the beginning, but here we go. Could everyone hear me that whole time, I wonder? No, it wouldn't be streaming at all, would it? I've got some cool stuff for you today. I think you're going to like it. The first one is our giveaway, which is Panda Garras, which are awesome. But I have a secret I've been sitting on. Those of you that got the newsletter today know what it is. A fish that people have been asking for geez, over a year. Was finally able to get some more in. So we'll be talking about those in just a little bit. But first, the shipping report. We are shipping out way more fish every week than we ever did before. I would say we've increased, I would say about 50%. Would you agree, Random Arms? Is 50% increased sales about right? Anyway, it's growing a lot. Random Arms got this blank look in his face like he's about to do math, so I'm just going to move on. So it's been really busy. So you will notice that I don't know if there's more DOAs or DOLs, as we call something that dies a few days after delivery due to the stress from shipping. I don't know if there's more of them or not than there were last year, because I haven't calculated the percentage since I think September was the last time I did that. So I'll do that at the end of the year to figure out kind of that last few months. But I just want to reiterate that we're shipping a lot more fish. So if it seems like we're losing more fish, it's not percentage-wise, it's not more fish. So a couple problems we had, and this is in the last 2 weeks, by the way, since we did not stream last week due to Turkey Day. So there are 2 Stiphodon Ariofuscas that arrived alive, but then did not do well for the person, passed away the next day. So we reshipped those, and the new batch is doing great. But we did have those losses 2 weeks ago. We also, that week, lost a Calidiri rainbow, just one. No clue what happened. And today we found out we lost L400 pleco. So those are the 3 species that we've had issues with in the last 2 weeks. The L400 arrived alive and passed away the next day. They arrived yesterday and passed away today. Wait, would that be right? Yesterday was Tuesday. Yes, that would be correct. So we have had a few losses. And I'm sorry to those customers. I've taken care of them. Everyone's getting replacements or refunds or what have you. And I hate it when any fish passes away, but that's a total of 3 species, 4 fish, over the last 2 weeks out of, I'm not going to count them, but many, many, many fish. So the percentage of loss is very low. But I'll always tell you when they happen. In fact, we are going to put a little ticker on our website at some point. There's a lot to do on the website, but where you can actually see the up-to-date, to-the-minute percentage of success shipping. We want to be always transparent about that. Our goal isn't like we want to be the best or anything like that, because our goal isn't to compare ourselves with other companies or other people. What we're trying to do is be the place that fish would want to go if they could decide which fish store they ended up at. So we try to do everything from the fish's point of view and the customer's point of view. We try to have good customer service. But that's the goal. It's not be better than anyone else. It's just do everything we can to make sure that the fish do well. So that continues to be our goal, and all the processes and procedures we do are to that end. And 4 fish in 2 weeks is more than I want, but percentage-wise, based on the volume we're shipping, it's almost nothing. Not that a fish's life is nothing, but you know what I mean. Mathematically, almost nothing. That's the shipment report. The giveaway is for some Panda Garra. I picked them because they're doing amazing and looking great, and have been since the beginning. They've been rock solid for us. And so, if you would like to win some Panda Garra, it'll be a group of probably 3 that I'll send you. I'll send them to you next week, probably Monday, maybe Wednesday. Just depends on how crazy the shipping days go. I kind of like to do the giveaway shipments on days that aren't quite as busy if I can, so we all, don't overload ourselves. But I'll send them to you next week. And to enter that, it's super simple. All you have to do is enter hashtag Panda, hashtag Panda in the chat, and that will automatically enter you into the drawing. And later on tonight, we'll do a random drawing through Nightbot and see who wins some Panda Garra. So that's the giveaway. Okay, now for the really exciting stuff. Oh, I do have a shipping story I want to tell you. We had a customer, and they said that I could share their name and tell you all the details, so I'm going to do that. The customer's name is John Larson, right? John Larson. And we shipped a batch of, I want to make sure I get these dates right. A batch of Zebra Acara, a super rare cichlid that is on a lot of people's bucket list, and we were finally able to get some, and a batch of albino threadfin Acara to John. We sent them out on Monday the 22nd, and we've had very few delays with the mail. When they are being delayed, they're usually arriving the next day, but almost all the packages are getting to people next day. A very small percentage of delays happen kind of randomly. I have noticed that UPS is now changing its delivery time instead of like 10:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. So the packages are probably going to get to you a little later than they would have, but get to you the same day that they would have. I think that's just the holiday rush, which is why in another week we're going to stop shipping, just because it gets too crazy right around Christmas. Anywho, we shipped a batch of Zebra Acara, and that's Adokita, and a batch of albino threadfin Acara to John on Monday, November 22nd. And they were promptly lost by UPS. This hardly ever happens, but they just disappeared. They made it to a place in California, and there were absolutely no updates after that. No one knew what was going on. John was great. He contacted his local UPS and did everything he could on his end locally to try to, be like, can you go back and look for my package, that kind of thing. There's only so much we can do from a distance, because it's much better if you can go talk to someone local. It's more effective. But he did all that and couldn't find him. We thought, I think both of us, me for sure, I was like, man, there's no way they're going to make it. However, I am happy to report that last night I got an email from John saying that they arrived and that they're all alive. And as of today, after 24 hours roughly, they are still doing well. I got that email from him earlier today. So earlier today, after having a night in their new home, they were still doing well. And they arrived at 76 degrees Fahrenheit, which is awesome. So that's 8 days in the mail, and they still made it okay. And Jonathan and Mandy and I were talking about it, and I figured that the heat packs only last 3-4 days. And so I figured that they would have just succumbed to low temperatures, but they must have been kept in a warehouse somewhere, in an office somewhere that was heated enough that they didn't experience crucially cold temperatures. And we were talking about it and thinking, well, we can't control the temperature long term, right? Because we don't know where the box is going to sit if it's lost. But everything we can control, we've really optimized for. So there's thick insulation. The reason the fish made it is because of the packing process. They're in clean water. They're in well oxygenated water. They're individually bagged, so you don't get that, domino effect. If one does poorly, that they all start doing poorly. And we just kind of sat around and had a moment together thinking, you know what? We can't control everything, and that was a nerve-wracking experience. But as long as we truly do optimize to the fish's benefit on all the aspects we can control, then in case of delays, when they do happen, we've got a shot. Like, I don't know, honestly, I don't know of many other companies that would have even had a shot in a situation like that. So it was just really cool that happened. So I wanted to share it. Every now and then, our attention to detail and all the extra work and processes we have in place to do this pay off, and they paid off big time on John's shipment. So John, thanks for sharing that with us and telling me I could share it with everybody in the audience. It just made it worth it because the fish lived, right? And that's what it's about. And they seem to be thriving. Hopefully they're going to do okay. So every now and then something goes wrong, but we do what we can. And so, yeah, okay. I think we've covered that. But it's a cool story. I think always the idea is, pack. We pack so they can last 3 or 4 days. 8's longer than any heat pack I know of that I could put in there and work with. But they still manage to come through okay. Every now and then there's a Cinderella story like that. So we got to celebrate when it happens. Oh, I had a super nerve-wracking one today. We sent a group of 6 L236 super white plecos out. Those are very expensive. $450 each, $430 each, something like that. And earlier today, it seemed like they had been lost, but luckily, an hour, 2 hours ago, something like that, they were delivered. So it all ended up being okay, but there was a little nail biting going on. Not just because you never want a fish to get lost, but when you have that many dollars in a bag, I hate equating a fish's value to dollars, right? Fish are valuable just because they're living creatures that deserve respect. I think we all get that and would all agree with that. But when on top of that, there's, a couple grand worth of the company's money riding on the success of this, oh man, that's nerve-wracking. But luckily it all ended up being okay. But today was a little keeping me on my toes, for sure, watching that thing come through. But that ended up being okay too. So almost always, do what you can, it's going to be okay. All right, so now to something super exciting. We have a bunch of new fish that we're going to release on Friday. I'm trying my best to get pictures and everything so we can do proper listings, but even if I can't, we'll at least do a listing. They'll be up Friday morning. If there's a fish you want on the wish list, put your notification on the wish list now at dancefish.com so you're notified, because some of these will go fast. One of them that I'm very excited about, and the reason I haven't turned these lights off, is I want to show you this if I can. Let's see if I can move my monitor. See those? Those are a fish that people have been begging in some cases for over a year. Those are the gold Roseline Barbs. We've got a very nice batch in. We have 3 tanks of them, so we didn't shove them all into one tank. We have a sizable batch, and they're doing absolutely fantastic. They will be, unless something goes horribly wrong, like suddenly they all develop some major disease tomorrow morning or something, which could happen. I mean, they're living creatures, but I don't anticipate any problems. They've been really, really good. They settled in very quickly. We'll be listing those for sale Friday morning. So for everyone that's been emailing me and asking me and messaging me, trying to get some, I've been trying. It took, I think, over a year to get these in again. So they're hard to get. I'm a little picky about where I get them from, and finally was able to get some more. So I'm very excited about those. Let me turn off these lights now. It's because they're so bright back there. Just left them on for a minute to show you. Now, for those that don't know this fish, we just released an article on them, and I want to show you how to get to the article so you can read up on them, because there are a few things about them you should know. They're not a cheap fish, and they're a little different than your standard Roselines. They have a propensity to certain issues that you should know about health-wise, mainly with their vision and also with their color and how it changes over time. And so before someone spends the money to get them, it would be good to take a gander at this newsletter so you're informed about your purchase. But if you go to dansfish.com and scroll down to the bottom, you can view previous newsletters. The one that we released today for December about the gold Roseline barbs is this one. Let's get you there. It's got a brief update here on the warehouse build. Just coming along. Look at that. Look at all that spray foam in there. And we're finally done. The exterior is done. The building's dried in. But here's the Roseline barb article. This is what everyone imagines they'll get when they order a Roseline barb, but they're highly variable. And I go through all the variations. I go through the different colors that they can come in as, and how they can change color over time. We talk about the eye issues, and some other things. So these are the fish, and if you order them, you could get some that are more white, some that are more gold, some that have started to develop the mottled kind of piebald brown coloration on them. There's a whole variety of them. So if you're interested, please do look at that article so you don't spend the money and go like, what? I didn't know some of those turn brown over time. I wanted gold forever, right? I'd hate for you to spend the money and then be like, oh man, all disappointed and mad. Now, I'm very pleased with this batch because only, I think only like 3 have eye issues that I can see. So most of them I think are going to be fine. Now, the eye issues could randomly develop at any time, perhaps. I don't know the fish well enough to know if that's true or not. But they're 2 inches now, and so I think the ones that have the eye issues are going to have eye issues, and the ones that don't will remain, without any eye issues. If you don't know what eye issues they get, read the article. So I'm pretty confident that these are going to do well for people as far as retaining their vision, but I don't know for sure if 2 inches is big enough to know that for the rest of that fish's life or not, but I think so. It's much better than getting the little 1-inchers and wondering if they're going to be okay or not. So anyway, super excited about that. I did share that, right? Was I sharing the article? Oh, good. Random Arm says I was. Sometimes I flip back and I can't remember what I did. There's some other amazing fish coming in as well, or not coming in. They're here. They're going to be released for sale. Black Tiger Dario, or Black Tiger Battis, sometimes people call them. People have been asking for a long time. We have a nice hardy batch of them. Scarlet Battis. I love this one. This is Epiplates. The listing says Sex fasciatus, and they do look like Sex fasciatus to me. But Epiplates are a little hard to identify for sure. So just know that they're big, beautiful Epiplates. And they were sold to me as Sex fasciatus. So I'll put that information on the listing. But until you get a real expert in there, and by expert I mean like has a PhD and knows the fin ray counts and has the equipment to do all the analysis, I'm not always sure exactly which Epiplates I have. Got some Chiathid Danios in, some more true Siamese algae eaters, some Chopre, some Opistos. Well, we ordered our Borrelia Opal, and I think that's probably what they are, but they're small enough that they don't really have all their color yet. So this is what I ordered. They look similar to this. They look very much like these. So I think they're right. But these and steel blues and a couple other look similar, and I have had cases in the past where I've ordered specific kinds of Opistos and was sent steel blues instead. But these were so expensive that hopefully they didn't do that. They look right to me, but they're small. This one I'm super excited about, Splash Tetras. An amazing fish. And mine is a different species than this. I think it's a Copella species. Let's see if we can just find it it has a lot of red on it. Let's see. Oh. Apparently that's a drink. I haven't been able to find, oh, maybe, no. We'll get some pictures for you, but they look like a splash tetra, but a lot of color. They're very beautiful. Those came out of Peru. We went kind of nuts with Autosynclus We have an amazing batch of autos. They're fat and healthy. All the autos are doing well. They aren't new, starving imports. They're eating well on algae wafers and zucchini. And we also take PVC pipes and let them sit in aged tanks and rotate them in so there's like algae and biofilm and stuff for them to graze. They're doing absolutely wonderful. So we have those, and we didn't stop there. We got some orange autos that are doing fantastic for us. Look at that little orange face. It's so cute. We brought in some tiger autos, or maybe zebra autos. Common names are hard. And we brought in some giant autos. So we went a little nuts on autosynclus, and each species is doing fantastic. We also brought in a new tetra that I've never seen before, never was able to get before. It's awesome. For those that don't know, before I introduce this, let me show you this. My favorite tetra of all time is Kerasidium Rakovai, or Rakovai, however you say that. The pictures don't do them justice. They're amazing. They're a hummingbird tetra, and this fin gets bright orange, the dorsal, and they get bright orange on the anal fin. They're really pretty. I haven't found a picture that does them justice yet. You can kind of see the orange there a little bit. They come from Uruguay, and so they can take cool weather. Here you go. Its fins aren't spread, so they're hard to see, but there's a lot of orange on all these fins. And they spread them a lot, and they display a lot. They're very active hummingbird tetra. Anyway, I have a soft spot for Kerasidium type tetras. So we brought in this. This is a nano version of the Kerasidium tetra, basically. This is Odontocaricidium. They're tiny little guys, I would say under an inch, and they are so cool. Active little, fun little hummingbird tetras, little nano hummingbird tetra. Never seen them before. They're eating really well. Right now we're feeding them baby brine shrimp. We have not got them trained to, what I want to do is get them to the point where I can drop in like a large pellet and have them chew on it for several hours. They're not there yet. They need live and frozen foods at this point, and small foods at that. So don't get them unless you can provide that. I do hope to be able to transfer them in time, but it's gonna take more work. They're not there yet. So that's only a little bit. We also brought in some rainbow shiners. We have a very nice group of hardy, doing fantastic rainbow shiners. And some other stuff that's slipping my mind. With the technical difficulties up front, I did not have time. Well, let's face it, I didn't have time anyway to list all the fish. But that's a taste of what we're doing. And the main one is those gold Roseline barbs that everyone has been wanting forever. And they're good. I don't think you're going to have eye problems. We're not going to send you any of the ones that have the obvious eye problems. So the ones you get, even if they're white, we have one that's pure white, but its eyes are dark, and it can see just fine. It's eating just fine. We have a couple, there might be three, it might only be two, that the eyes are that opaque, clear color they get when they go blind, basically. And so we won't send those. We'll save those for like a gimpy fish giveaway or something like that. Make sure that they're growing up and doing fine. All right, I have missed some super chats. Thank you for throwing money at us, folks. It's never required, but it's super appreciated. It does help, and it makes my wife super happy when money falls out of the computer screen. Leo Contreras, any updates? Getting more 471s. Finally finished moving all 5 of my 471s to my breeder, and they're loving it, doing amazing. Thank you. Yeah, the little ocelot pleco. No, that's the mini snowball pleco. There's the 174 and the 471. I get them confused. Both are tiny. Yes, I do plan to bring more of those in. The breeder and I talked, and we were thinking of bringing some of those in early December, because he's got a bunch available, along with some rainbows that I really want. I've been waiting for forever. They're awesome. I can't say which one they are yet, or I'll get bombarded. And some other stuff. And with the craziness of the holidays and not knowing exactly when the warehouse is going to get done, I told him, let's wait till after the new year, when things calm down a bit. I didn't want him to get delayed with all the flight madness or freeze somewhere during that madness of the holidays. So we're going to wait a little bit. I know it sucks. I don't like it either, but it's going to be better for the fish. And that's kind of our North Star, what's better for the fish. So it's going to be a little while, but I do hope to get some of them in along with the 174s and along with some other, there's the Opal Pleco, or Opal Spot Pleco, I guess. Depends on how you say it. I forget the L number, but he's got some of those. There's some stuff that I really want to bring in. But holidays are hard. So for those that don't know, oh, excuse me. I did rush dinner right before this, can you tell? So here's our shipping schedule. Orders that come in after December 7th are going to wait till after the new year to ship. And the reason is, if we look at a calendar here, if they come in on the 7th, we can ship on the 8th and get them to you the 9th. And if there's a delay, they'll probably still get to you on the 10th. They won't sit somewhere over the weekend, right? But if we start shipping here, this is too close to Christmas. This week is absolutely nuts, and this week is absolutely nuts. So UPS does a good job, but there's just a much higher likelihood of delays and things getting lost and misplaced the closer we get. So we are going to cut it off here so that everything gets to where it's going to go by the end of this week. So we aren't fighting. So we aren't fighting Christmas. No one wants to fight Christmas. I'm sure there's a movie about that somewhere. So we have to make adjustments during the crazy time because of the cold. If fish get delayed too long, the odds are they might not make it. Even though sometimes they do, apparently, like John Larson's order. The Chubby Guppy throwing down some awesome hippo stickers. Look at these. These are cuteness. Look at those. Look at that. Along with this super chat. Thank you, Chubby Guppy. I don't see a comment, so hopefully you didn't leave one. And sometimes it doesn't let me see the comments. I don't know why. Alexander, I'm starting to get a cold, and talking's hard. Let's try that again. I'm going to pretend I just saw it. Alexander! I still can't do it. No. Third's the charm. I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille. Alexander Engelhart threw down $100 super chat. Thanks, Alexander. Sorry it didn't work the first time when I really was surprised. Doing my best here. Thank you for the support. We appreciate it. I think we're just about ready to take you up on your offer and have a chat. Hopefully that can happen later this week. Actually, we're ready. It's a question of busy. Every time I'm like, we can schedule it, it gets busy again. But we're planning on doing that. Wish you had the autos available last week. Was on the market for 40 of them. When will the orange autos go up? So they should all go up on Friday. I planned Friday morning on releasing them. I don't have an exact time. Sometimes it takes a little longer, but Friday for sure they'll go up. And the orange autos will go up at the same time. They'll all go up Friday, hopefully in the morning. And yeah, the oranges are pretty awesome. I only got a few of each. We got a lot of the common autos. But the others, I only got a few of each because I just wanted to test them. That is a new source for me. They're coming directly from Peru. I haven't dealt with Peru in a long time. And this is a different provider. So heard good things and wanted to give them a try. So I only tried a few things. There's also we brought in some really cool quarries and stuff as well. So there's other things that I didn't have time to list up. Some of them we're still trying to identify because as cool as Peru fish are, the exporters do not label the bags. So you order like 6 cories and it's like, oh, there's 6 cories. I don't know which are which. Like I ordered, let's see here, was it Napoensis? I ordered a cory, I can't remember which species. Same species from 2 different locations because I wanted to see, what's what. Not labeled, so it's like, well, I don't know which is which location because they're not labeled and they look very similar. So I guess I'll just be listing those as the species without a location. But it's I don't know why you can't just take a marker and even put a number on the bag and then have a sheet where you can look up the number and see what you got. If you don't want to write the name, fine. Give me a number, right? But it's a little tricky. But there are some amazing things going up. Some of them are going to have a picture and be like, Corridor species, because I don't know what I got. So it'll be interesting. Chattanooga Ed, good to see you, Ed. I hope you're doing well. Punching me in the face with his fox cat. Thanks for the $5. And more than that, just nice to hear from you. I hope you're doing well. The red goateed wonder. That's how I always think of. Oh, I have a cold. This is gonna be hard. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to the Codfather. Happy birthday, Bob Kaler. Awesome. I just heard it was your birthday, Bob. Happy birthday. Congrats. Thanks for being here. This is how dedicated Bob is as a mod. It's his birthday, and he's still here volunteering, making the world go round for us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, I want to do like a golazo or something, but my throat's sore, and my nose is stuffy, and winter has hit. That's awesome. Congratulations to Bob. All right. Well, I've gabbed on for 35 minutes about what's going on here. Now I want to hear what's going on with you all in your neck of the woods. So if you would leave a question or a comment, when you do so, for those that might be noobs here, if you would make it at Dan's Fish, it'll turn bright orange for me. See on the chat here, these bright orange squares. That's what I go for, is I see these bright orange squares and I respond to those. Everything in between, I imagine, is just like, chat amongst yourselves, or not directed at me, but directed at someone else. So to get a bright orange square, if you type the @ symbol and then Dan's Fish, no spaces or anything, you'll see a list populate, and you can click Dan's Fish, and then that creates a big bright orange square for me. Makes it easy for me to see your chat, your question, your comment, what have you. So runny noses are so no fun, especially live on camera. But the show must go on. All right. So the first question, comment I can see is Skull Aquatic saying, it's Bob Kaler's birthday. Yes, it is. Awesome. Punchy Paints, happy birthday, Bob, the old man of the chat. The Codfather. I just love that. The Codfather. Of the Tennessee Fish Mafia. Okay, Alician, yes, any Sabwa resplendens available. So for those that don't know, that's the rummy nose rasbora, not to be confused with the rummy nose tetra. Rummy nose rasbora. These are an amazing fish. They're super pretty, nice iridescent sky blue with these nice red scissor tips and a red, orange to red. I've seen them bright red face. Yeah, I've seen them red, if not redder than that. It does happen. They don't like it too warm. They come from Lake Inlay, which is a very kind of neat, unique ecosystem, I would say. And the thing about Lake Inlay is it's pretty alkaline water. And my water here is super soft. So I like that fish a lot. I've tried it once or twice in the past here at this location. It didn't do well, and I think a reason might be just because they don't like my soft water. I know when you think of rasboras, you usually think of like, soft acidic water, but this is one that comes from a totally different environment. There's lots of these micro-habitats throughout the world where things are just a little different than you would expect for that region. Indonesia, Sulawesi, it has all these lakes that are very unique, and a lot of them have hard alkaline water, which you wouldn't expect, in tropical rainforesty type area, but they do. I think they have like a limestone base or something like that. I don't remember, or the water bubbles up through a limestone fissure, something like that. I can't remember exactly. But so I don't bring in the Sabwa resplendens just because I tried a couple times. They didn't do well, and I think, I'm not 100% sure, I can't know for sure, but I'm going to wait until I have access to harder water, more alkaline water, so they do better. Yeah, so I don't bring them in right now. The good news is, I know the warehouse, I always say, when the warehouse comes. I'm not trying to equate the warehouse with the rapture, but I understand that I talk about it like that a lot. When the warehouse comes online, we will have harder, more alkaline water available to us through the warehouse. So I plan to try them again at that point. I just don't think it's fair to the fish to keep trying when I already know my water isn't good, and I've tried them for them, and I've tried them a couple times, and they didn't like it. So, Kyle Aquarium Metrics, excited to hear you're getting into pistos. Do you have a source for pistogramma? How do you say this? Oh, I always trip this one up. Apicaxis, by chance? Maybe, I'd have to look. I did order a few pisto species that came from Peru. The problem is they didn't label the bags, and so hard to identify. So now that they're all settled in and through quarantine and stuff, I'll get some pictures, I'll send them to experts and see if I can get an ID. So I have some, I just don't quite know how to sell them because I don't know what they are because they weren't labeled. Oh, who's that? I saw someone says, I have splash tetras, they are fab. Audra Meyer, clearly a person of great taste. These are prettier than any. It sounds like I'm just trying to shill my stuff. I'm not. These are prettier than any splash tetra I've seen. Like, the red on them is amazing. We'll take pictures. So maybe they're not a splash tetra. Maybe they're a different species of Capella, like one of the ones, or closely related genre. They like spawns on leaves or makes the divot in the sand and guards them like cichlids or something like that. There's different breeding strategies than you would expect from a lot of those kind of Capella and closely related genre. So I have to get an ID. They weren't labeled. Jennifer Weaver. Question, I have a 6-week-old spawn of a Pisto abacaxis. There you go. We found a source. One of the fry is an albino. Wow. I'm tempted to move it to a small tank to grow out with less competition. What do you think? I think this is a case where I would need to do some real observation. I think what I would do is closely observe the batch. Is the little guy keeping up with everyone? Is it eating well? Is its weight and size kept keeping up with everyone? Is it doing just fine? In that case, I'd probably keep it with the rest. I find lots of times when I make special arrangements for like a special fish and try to put it in a small tank on its own and stuff like that, it ends up not working out so well. Sometimes too much attention, too much love just doesn't work out. Usually, I think it's because I'm trying to put them in a smaller tank or container. Maybe it's not as well cycled or something. I feel like I gotta help this fish, right? And by helping it, I actually do more damage because I don't have like a nice big cycled aquarium for it. You know, it's one fish. So I understand why we do that, and generally I try not to unless I need to. So I would observe. And if you find that it's not keeping up, it's not eating well, it's getting picked on, it's not growing as quickly as the others, maybe you should remove it. That's interesting because abacaxis they're not farmed in large numbers or anything, I don't think. I'm not the world's expert on pistos, that's for sure, but I don't see them regularly on like fish farm lists or anything. So yeah, I wonder if that's like from the wild line, like recently from the wild fish, and you get an albino. Although that might be one that's coming out of the Czech Republic, in which case I'm not real surprised there's an albino. I can't remember. Sorry for the sniffles, guys. I know it's gross, but it's better than having it drip out my nose. Sandy Farrell, the Gimpy Angels are doing great. Awesome! Goal! Pretend I did a golazo there. I'm glad you enjoy them. It always makes my heart happy when we can help the gimpy fish find loving homes and have a good life even though they're gimpy. Here's to the gimpies. Not one do. Can you mix different autos? I wouldn't. I've never tried it. You might be able to. They don't seem super aggressive to each other or anything. I guess it's an aesthetic thing for me. Some of these are really hard to get, especially in good shape. Ottos are notorious for coming in starving, sunken belly, full of parasites, lots of problems. So I just wouldn't want to risk it. I guess part of it is their rarity, how hard it was to get them, and how kind of new they are to me, to caring for them, that I don't have the confidence that I personally would mix them. They're all in a tank all by themselves. But it's not to say that they wouldn't get along okay. I think personality-wise, I haven't seen any jostling or competition. So it might be okay. I probably just treat them a little too precious. Again, hopefully I don't kill them with kindness, but I haven't mixed them. So I don't have any first-hand experience with that. Leo Contreras, worth the wait. Awesome, Leo. Yeah, they're great little fish. Hoon Aquatics, new rainbows? Yes, Hoon, but you've already got them. You lucky son of a gun. They're one you already have, but I've been trying to get for a long time. Okay, chat just jumped, so it's going to take me a moment to figure this out. Oh, wait, did I miss one? Hang on, I just saw Forest. Oh, this makes me think maybe I missed a fish that didn't do well in the shipping report. What was it? Oh, it's a fish that did well. We made a mistake. That's right. So we check, I swear, we have this almost fail-safe option, I guess. We have all these checkpoints. So we check the fish a minimum of 3 times. We check it when we catch it. We check it when we change the water. We check it when we seal it in the bag. And we usually check it when we put it in the box. At least 3 times, often 4. So we're looking at the fish really carefully. We want to find problems before they leave. And we're pretty good about it. I mean, we miss stuff occasionally. We send a batch of pygmy corridors out, and one of them ended up not having an eye. Like, one of its eyes was missing. And we totally didn't see it. Every time we checked it, it must have been facing one way. Just, I know the probability is low, but it happens occasionally. And we missed it. So, Forrest's super chat there made me remember that. So, Forrest, thank you so much for the super chat. $10 Gimpy Fish Adoption Fund. And hope all your fish are doing well. Swamp Thing, good to hear from you. Hope you're doing well, Swamp Thing. Let me buy you a large cappuccino at Andy's. If it's too cold to leave the house that early in the morning, for 20 packs of ramen noodles. I have a choice. I can spend it on a luxury cappuccino or 20 packs of ramen noodles. That's a lot of dinner. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, ramen wages for sure. And we're keeping it that way until, I should say this. So, well, I already mentioned it a little bit earlier. The business is doing very well. It's growing super nicely, super quickly. We have good help. Mandy's amazing to work with. Jonathan, I've always known is amazing to work with because I've worked with him all my life, pretty much. And we just found another person, a customer happiness officer, to help us out more. They should be joining us in January. So it's growing, things are doing well, but we're still not taking out any more of the business. We are still on ramen wages, and that's on purpose. We all talk about this as a team, and we've all agreed that as long as we can, we want to put the money back in the business. There's still a lot of expense and things that are needed to actually move in and get set up in the warehouse. We're pretty well covered, but we want to not go in debt or anything like that. We want to operate in the black. And then we have big plans. In a couple years, we want to expand and more than double the size of our warehouse, and that's going to take some funds. And so we're living very lean, so we can fulfill the dream. And happily, everyone here at Dan's Fish shares the dream. The vision is clear. We know what we're doing. We know where we want to get. And so it's going to be ramen wages for a while. So thanks for the 20 packs. Appreciate it very much. Kelly Foreman, making it rain. Thank you so much, Kelly, for the 20 bucks. Let's keep this business doing well so I can get more rainbows. Yeah, I hope I can bring the ones in that... So the breeder was holding them for me for early December, but I didn't feel right having the breeder hold them for me like through till January or whenever I can do another import of cool rainbows, because a little bit of it is up in the air with like when I can move into the warehouse, and I'm not sure when that'll happen. So I want to be upfront and honest with my suppliers, right? It's a relationship. It's, you treat them well, they'll treat you well, and if they don't, you just leave and find someone else, because not all of them do, but this guy does. He's great. And so I told him, look, I'm not going to be able to order again until at least after the new year, after the holiday craziness, and then they got this warehouse going on. Don't know exactly what's happening there because I'm not in charge of that construction schedule. Much as I bug them, I don't have any real power to make that go quicker. So I did tell him, I plan on getting more as soon as I can, but it'd be ridiculous if you held them for me for too long, because he was already holding them for me for like a month. So it wasn't fair to him to have him, oh man, I'm sick, can't think, have him hold them longer. So hopefully when I do place the order, they'll be available still. But I try to do right by you guys, but I also try to do right by the supplier. And this guy's been really good to me, so. But got some cool stuff in the works, and if this batch is sold out, he's breeding more. He'll have more at some point. Rockin' Fish, did you sell out of those cool dwarf red-tail eels? We did. And I'm sorry I have not had a moment to get a video together. I wanted to take a video of those, and Rockin' Fish wanted me to. I wanted to. Everyone wanted to see them on video. I have not had any time to get to it. So they hide really well. So once we've caught all the current orders, we'll take a close look, and we might find some more, hidden in the plants and stuff. But as far as I know, we're sold out at the moment. All right, just looking here for bright orange squares. There's one. Kenneth Garland, do you ship with heat packs to cold weather states? 'Cause it's snowing here. Of course, Kenneth. There's no other way I know of to do it. I'm in Wyoming. It gets -30, -35 here at times during the winter. So yeah, we definitely use heat packs. We ship year round. The only times we don't ship are close to the holidays because stuff gets crazy. And every now and then when there's like a natural disaster that impacts a UPS hub, like an ice storm coming down in Louisville or something like that. Like things like that we know have a good chance of impacting shipping. Sometimes we don't know that something will impact shipping and we ship anyway and there's an issue, but that usually only happens like once a year. There's something where we ship and we didn't realize that there's this thing that was gonna impact a certain airport that everything goes through, all that. But in general, we ship year round, and we do that by using heat packs and cold packs judiciously. We have thickly insulated boxes, well-insulated boxes that we use, and pretty darn successful. I mean, the success rate is over 99%, so it's pretty good, even in the bitter, bitter cold. We only ship next day, and that's kind of our thing. How do you properly ship fish even when it's cold or hot? How do you upgrade them from like a prison car on a train without heat or air conditioning or anything to like business class travel, first class air travel, right? We try to make their trip very comfy. And we go a step beyond that. We have these little temperature recording devices that we actually put in the boxes that we send to customers. And they're in a self-addressed stamped envelope, so the customer, can just stick them in the mail and they return to us. And we can actually track the temperatures the fish went to during their journey, so we can constantly kind of fiddle with the heat pack situation and figure out how to always make it so things do well. Now, heat packs are not an exact science. You never know if the fish is going to be, when it's in a warehouse, if it's going to, or an office or something over at UPS, if it's going to be in the nice warm warehouse or out on the tarmac where it's freezing or what. Like there are some things that you don't know. But in general, the fish get there where we want them, which is somewhere in the 70s. That's where we want them. 70 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, roughly. That almost always happens. And it's very rare that we have losses. We're very careful about our shipping. We've refined that for years, and it's kind of a point of pride and central to our mission to ship properly. If you look at the Dan's Fish YouTube channel, Kenneth, you can find lots of videos that show how we ship fish and prepare them and all that. It's kind of our thing. Lady Diane, get well soon. Why, thank you. I mean, it's annoying. It's hard to sleep. It's like, it hurts a little in your throat, but it's, a lot of people have it worse. This is just that seasonal thing that I'll get over. It's fortunately, fortunately, it's, you know, I know what Rona feels like, and it's not that. So it's just every year get this thing. Kayla's Aquatics. Oh, your birthday was yesterday? Well, you still got a song, big boy. Bunny Viper. Hi, are Heckelei thread fins bullies or nippy? Will general cure hurt mystery snails? How many geo thread fins might happily exist in a 180 gallon? Thank you. Okay. So, no, I don't. Okay. It's so I'm going to preface this by saying fish act differently in different environments. Like, I can have a fish in a tank here and it'll act one way. I can move them to the tank next door, still here, just right next door, and sometimes they can act a different way. So there's variation based on the stimuli around them, their environment, their temperament, all that, especially with cichlids. But in general, no. Thread fins are good community fish. Maybe not with like a long-tailed betta, you know, or a long-tailed guppy or something. That might be a little too tempting, that long wavy fin. But the thread fins themselves develop pretty long filaments on the fins. That's why they're called thread fins. And you know, there's for a cichlid, they're very peaceful. I would equate their behavior to something akin to that of like a geophagus type fish. Maybe a little more aggression at points, but not kind of like a geophagus. And unless they're breeding, I don't think they're going to be super aggressive. So I think that they'll get along with most things. In 180 gallon, let's see here, full grown, you could get more than this in there, but I think somewhere between 8 and a dozen would look really good, because then you'd still have room to put some other fish around them. So that's kind of where my mind would go. And the albino thread fins are awesome. Well, the other ones are too. Oh, we also got Jurapari, Satan perculum. I love saying that genus. It's fun. It's more like a Halloween term, but it's still fun at Christmas. Will general cure hurt mystery snails? I don't keep mystery snails, so I don't know, but from what I've heard on the Co-op and other channels, it shouldn't. But again, I don't have firsthand experience. And I'd like to hear from other people on the thread fins. Have you had issues with them? If so, let's all chime in together so Bunny Viper gets a better response than what I have. In my experience, they've never been a problem. But I know fish can act differently, so I'm curious what other people have found out. Killers Aquatics throwing down Pippi Longstocking. Thank you, Bob, so much. Happy belated birthday. Thanks for raising the level of cheer with a little Pippi. You can put pep in your step, or you can put Pippi in your step. Pippi puts pep in your step. Yeah. Deb Hall D. If Santa gives me a Dan's Fish certificate, how long are they good for? 6 months from the issue date is how long we do that. I mean, we'd probably work with you if it's a little longer or something, but let's say you have 6 months. We just don't want to get in a situation where someone collects a whole bunch of gift certificates 3 years from now and is like, here's $10,000 of gift certificates, and we're like, that was unexpected, you know. So 6 months for us works for our business plan and our financial flow and things. Yeah. Now, if someone has one that's over 6 months and you want to use it, contact me. You know, we'll talk. Mountaintop Puffer Keeper. Okay, so for those that don't know, before I get into this, Mountaintop Puffer Keeper is breeding some awesome puffers. They're a POW species, palustris, or close to it. And we get a weekly report on how they're doing, which is awesome. So the report this week says, POW CF palustris, going strong, 10 whiteworm eaters, putting away little more than their body weight in food per day. Woo! They're going to grow so fast. Day 38 now, about 3/4 inch mini adults in all behaviors. That's awesome. You did it, man. I saw the video of them eating the whiteworms. I was like, oh, if you're that far, you're done. Like, you made it. I mean, stuff can still go wrong, but, you know, not to jinx it, but yeah, awesome. Thanks for the report. It's great to hear how they're doing. I'm glad they're doing well. 3/4 of an inch. You're like, yeah, you're there. Maria Z throwing down a $10 super chat and saying thank you. Maria, thank you, right at you. Right back to you. We appreciate you as well. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being an awesome mod and supporting us in all the ways you do behind the scenes and in the chat. We appreciate you. That goes for all my mods. Thanks, mods, for modding. Shout out to the mods. Maria Z putting a link to the store. We do have some cool stuff, and we have even more cool stuff coming Friday. Friday morning, we have a lot of fish to list. I need a drink because my throat's screaming at me. Oh, if the gold denison barbs were to turn brown, does that mean they revert to the regular wild type coloring, or does it actually turn a darker brown? It's a darker brown. In fact, Jonathan and I were discussing today, that's Random Arms, aka Get Gills for you. For you that might not know, we're talking today and trying to decide if we should call it brown or black, or like olive brown. It's a real dark, like charcoal, I don't know. It's a real dark brown, or maybe a charcoal color, maybe a black color, a little green hint to it. Maybe it's a black olive color. Anyway, it's darker than your normal Roseline. So let's see. Where'd he go? Where's Fu Manchu? Fu Manchu is not out right now. That dark stripe on there, let me see if I can show you this. Okay. So the brown color that comes in is like the color of this dark stripe on the lateral line. Dark brown, maybe a black, has some olive to it. And if you take that, and this kind of really dark color on the dorsal area, it's kind of like an olivey charcoal color. That's kind of what the color is like. But it's darker than it's not light tan or anything. However, sometimes it comes in and there's very little of it. In that case, it can look like a kind of lighter brown, even though the pigment itself is pretty dark. So, yeah. Okay, scrolling up. DJ Steen Anderson, do you ever get giant plakat bettas in? I don't. I haven't brought betta splendens in for a long time. I don't have any plans to do it soon. There's lots of other people doing a good job. KG Tropicals does it. Simply Betta. I mean, she's building her new fish room and stuff. I don't know if she has any available right now, but she's a better breeder in this community that has some. I feel like there's a lot of people selling bettas and doing a fine job, so I'll let them do it. Bunny Viper, oh, I already got that one. Ah, so gross, sniffles. Ew, yuck, so gross. Do you guys remember that commercial? It's probably a Geico commercial. It's one of my favorites where this guy says to lose weight, he has a bunch of like junior high girls follow him around and comment on everything he eats. And like he'll pick up like this drippy sandwich and they're like, ew, yuck, so gross. Then he picks up a hamburger later in the day and they're like, ew, yuck, so gross. That's what my nose feels like right now. If they saw my nose, they'd be like, ew, yuck, so gross. Rachel Irwin, my pencilfish are doing awesome and have colored up beautifully. My birthday was yesterday, so I might need to order more to gift myself. It's my birthday present to me. They're fun to watch. Yeah, I'm glad you like them. I'm out right now, but I do have plans to bring more in. I have a great supplier for them. Almost asleep here in Northern Europe. Hey, thanks for being with us. It's probably super late there, right? First snow fell today. Abacaxis, probably, well, Wilhelmi. Okay. Tom C. Dot has some nice Tetras. Pics you can check. Probably same site is the Autosinkless picture you showed us. Cool. Thanks. And sweet dreams. Sweet dreams. Hope you do well there in Northern Europe. Mikey M. Levi's Aquatics, how big is the fish tank behind you? That's a 125. Want to see it? Whoop. From that end. These are all 75s over here. This is a 125. And then down below, where the gold Roseline Barbs are, that are 2-inch juveniles that we're selling, that's a 100-gallon tank. And then up in the annex, we have a whole bunch of 40-gallon breeders. What time did the new fish go up on Friday? Asks Not One Do. I don't know. I always plan to do it in the morning, but sometimes I can't finish it by the morning. It's a lot of work to list the fish. I have to write the descriptions, get the pictures up, get all the listings built, and it takes some time. So I'm going to do my darndest. And again, I'll get them up even if I can't get pictures and descriptions, but I'd much prefer to do pictures and descriptions. So if it's like mid-morning or, getting around lunchtime and it's like, man, this is it's still going to take an hour, or not an hour, like 4 hours or the rest of the day or something, I'll probably just quickly list everything without descriptions. But I'm trying to avoid doing that. So for people that know me and know Dan's Fish and know the company and how we do things, it's not that big a deal. Especially if there's a tour video where you can see all the fish anyway, right? But to grow the business, we have to bring people in that don't know us, that don't follow us on YouTube, that don't even know that there's a tour video and things like that. So let's say, so when someone comes and meets us for the first time, we want to put our best foot forward, right? We want to make a good impression. And just a list of fish with prices and no sizes or descriptions or anything, that's not a great impression for your first time coming to dansfish.com, right? So we're trying to avoid that. Sometimes it happens just because we only have so much time in the day. We try to prioritize correctly, but sometimes other things take precedence. So it's basically fish care is number one, or the fish doing well. And then the other thing is customer service, or the customer is being taken care of. Like fish number one, customers number two. Sorry guys, but the fish kind of have to be number one, because if the fish are doing well, your order will do well, right? And then customer service. And then after that, we can get to everything. So like listing new fish and making new videos one day, maybe, all that stuff. So I really don't know. I'm so helpful. Sorry, not one do. Desert Flower Keeper. I'm saying that wrong, aren't I? Not one do. Wasn't there? I can't remember. Desert Fish Keeper, not Flower Keeper. Any recommendations for my 75-gallon planted tank that would go well with angels and GB rams? Parameters are 6.5 pH, 200 GH, 81 degree water. Looking at your gudgeons and blue Guyana. Okay. I would avoid the gudgeons. I think that they'll end up picking on the long fins of the angels once they grow in. Once they get to, 4 or 5 inches. The blue Guyana are probably safe, but they're going to take the same niche in the aquarium as the GB rams. So that'll get crowded down there on the substrate. I think you need something up top. Your angels will kind of go everywhere, mid-water-ish. Got your GB rams on the bottom. What about the top? It's a good top dwelling fish. We have a bunch of pygmy hatchets also that we can that we'll be listing on Friday if they continue to do well. But I don't think those are right for this tank because I think they're probably too small for full-grown angels. Those Epiplates sexfasciatus might, or whatever they actually are, the Epiplates species might be good. They're good-sized. I don't think a full-grown angel would mess with them, especially if there's floating plants and things like that. That might be okay. I have African butterfly fish. Those are great for the top, and they're definitely, at least 3 inches or so. So those would probably be okay. Nice top-dwelling fish. I think that's it. I think the mission, should you choose to accept it, is to find something for the very top. And like truly a top dweller, something that'll stay up there. Angels, when they get full grown, they're big. I mean, a 75-gallon tank with, 6 angels in it, in my mind, that's like stocked. So, not that you can't put rams and other stuff in there too, but I'm just saying, I don't know how many angels you have, but once those get big, they're a lot of fish. So I wouldn't shove it full of fish. Oh, we have gold laser Aeneas. That's another one that came in that we need to list Friday. Baron von Jenser. I did not see them available on Dan's Fish. Is it a different website? Pardon my noob. No problem. Noobs, I'm a noob at lots of things. So if you go to dansfish.com, you'll be able to see, you can go to either one, but dansfish.com has the wish list and stuff on it. But the fish are not listed yet. I'm talking about fish that will be listed Friday morning. They aren't going to be done with quarantine till Friday. So for the noobs, we always quarantine every fish we get for at least 2 weeks. Sometimes it's longer. It just depends on how the fish comes in, what it needs. We work with an aquatic veterinarian if anyone's having trouble to make sure that we know how to take care of them and they get a clean bill of health and all that. So we take our time. So it's not like we get fish in and just sell them. We get fish in and we try to get them used to aquarium life, get them recovered from the stress of being imported, get them used to aquarium foods, get them to the point where if I sold them to my mother or my grandma or my in-laws, that I'm like, yeah, they're going to do fine. They're hardy. They'll be fine. They're going to make it. So that's kind of what we're trying to do. So it takes some time. Rosie says, hi right back at you. Are your tiger gobies micro about 1 inch in size? I'm wondering if they're the same as Taiwanese dragon micro gobies, Schismatogobius. I don't know which species they are, but they are a Schismatogobius species. Yes. I don't know which species, but yeah, they're the little tykes. Wow, light just started flickering. That's a good omen. Let's see here. Okay, it's 8:12. I feel like there's 188 folks here. I feel like it's a time to give away some Panda Garras. Let's do it now. Let's see how many people leave the stream after we do this. I'm always curious. So 188. We're going to give away some Panda Garras. So this is for at least 3 Panda Garras. They're small. They're like an inch. They're little guys, but we haven't had any problems. They're eating like crazy. They're doing great. Looking at them right now, they're just super fun to watch. And the winner is Mickey M from Northern Europe. If you're still here, you have won. I know you can't get them because you're in Northern Europe, but I would imagine there might be someone that you would like me to send them to. So I don't know if you went off to bed because it was sleepy time for you, but we'll give you a couple minutes to chime in, see if you're still here. And thanks for all the support over the years. Mickey's been Mickey, it's Mikey, I always say Mickey. It's, always been a active member of the channel here during the live chat, so we appreciate that. So I can only send them to the United States. Mickey knows that. I'm here. Please give it to T-Fish. All right, T-Fish. Send me an email with your first and last name and your mailing address, and we'll get that settled. Mikey M, thanks for playing. Thanks for being here, and thanks for passing the love along to T-Fish. All right, so that was 188. Oh, we're at 191. We didn't lose everybody. That's good. I wonder if that's current. I wonder if it's actually dropping and we can't see it. Let's keep an eye on that. 192. Man, this is great. We should give away things earlier more often. 195. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being here. Okay, next one is Chuck. I'm going to say Gudgeon. I know it's probably not, but it's close enough to Gudgeon that that's what I want to say. Chuck Gudgeon. Do snails attack fish eggs? If I'm trying to breed fish, do I remove all the snails from the tank? I never worry about it. However, I don't use like big monster snails like Japanese trapdoor snails or rabbit snails or anything like that. My snails are all like what you would call pest snails. I like them, so they're not pests to me, but little ram's horn snails, little pond snails, stuff like that. I don't know for sure if they eat the eggs or not, but I bred tons of fish with them, with snails in the tanks, and I've never observed it, but they might. But I still raise lots of fish, so they don't worry me at all. Okay. Orange cones that get gills. So how many names do you have? Yeah, just 3. You know, 3's a good, I don't want to say round number, but 3's a good triangle number. You'll know you've made it, Random Arms, when you have like 30. Oh, hang on, chat jumped, so I'm scrolling here to see people's comments and questions. Okay. Bob Purcell. Bob, good to see you. What minimum tank size do you recommend for the Roseline barb? So I kind of never recommend minimum tank sizes because I feel it's dogmatic and everyone has their own opinion on it. So you say one size, you make half the internet angry. You say a different size, the other half gets angry. What I would say is that's a fish that gets 4 or 5 inches, is a fairly rapid swimmer. So it needs room to swim. It's an active fish of size. So whatever that means to you. I've had great luck keeping adults in 75-gallon tanks. Those are 4 feet long. I've had great luck in the 6 feet tanks as well, the 2 behind me. They seem to do fine in those. As far as whether you want to go lower or bigger than that, I'll leave that judgment call up to you. But 4 to 5 inch fish and quite active. Baron Jan, I want to say Jan Visor, Von Yinzer, thanks. I was thinking I was missing something. I really appreciate the response and the dedication that you show with that sort of procedure. Yeah, I mean, that's our whole thing. That's the reason we exist. Orange cones. When are they going to change the Denison Barbs to Danison Barbs? Orange cones. One day we're going to sit down, have a meal together, and we're going to crack up so hard for the entire dinner. Like... Kratel Half Moon, could you briefly explain any quarantine method for bettas or guppies? Do you observe or dose meds immediately? Yes and no. So it used to be that I treated every fish that came in for 2 weeks. The first week was always antibiotics, salt, kanamycin, and nitrofurazone. The second week was anti-parasite medications, ICX, metronidazole, Prazi, and then between the two I'd do like a treatment of levamisole, and then at the end I would do it as well. So I was shotgun, and I had good success with that. I'm not gonna lie, it worked great. However, now that I know my suppliers better, I'm starting to learn what to expect from which suppliers. And I'm working with an aquatic veterinarian who can actually identify what's going on with fish that come from certain suppliers. So I know next time I order that fish from that supplier, how to treat it. So if I'm getting fish from a supplier and there's no issues, then basically I know I don't have to treat those fish prophylactically. I will if something develops, but I don't have to do it prophylactically. If I get fish from a supplier and there's an issue and we can identify it with our veterinarian, then I know next time I order that fish, I will prophylactically treat with whatever medicine targets whatever problem was identified. So it's getting more scientific now instead of just the shotgun approach. But that was the shotgun approach that worked for me. It worked for me for many years when I didn't have the resources to work, closely with an aquatic veterinarian. 1 week of kanamycin and nitrofurazone, then the next week anti-parasite meds. However, I will say the only reason that worked is because I kept the fish for the first week at least in a hospital tank, a sterile hospital tank. I mean, I scrubbed that thing out. There was no algae, there was no mold, there was nothing. That was a very clean glass box that I would start fresh every week. Antibiotics are really tricky if you're in a bioactive environment, especially antibiotics like kanamycin and nitrofurazone that treat gram-negative bacteria. Gram-negative bacteria are what cause Aeromonas and columnaris, which are the two most columnaris, the most common bacteria that cause illness in our aquarium fish. So that's why I would go with those to start prophylactically. And I do it for a whole week because you don't want to, it's like when you take antibiotics, the doctor always says finish the whole 7 days or 10 days or 2 weeks or whatever it is. The reason is first, so you don't stop when you just start feeling better and have a latent illness. But the other reason is more altruistic. It's so that we don't create superbugs. We don't build immunity in these organisms. So, treat as you should. If you have a sterile hospital tank, it works well with the antibiotics. If I did not have a sterile hospital tank, what I'd probably do is get as much mold out of the tank as I could, clean the filters. I'm not saying sterilize them, don't kill your cycle, don't kill your nitrifying bacteria, but get all the junk and mold out. And then I would do the Co-op trio, which is General Cure, ICX, and help me out here, erythromycin. The reason I would do that is those are less likely to kill your cycle. But those only treat gram-positive bacteria. The erythromycin is a gram-positive agent. So it'll help against gram-positive bacteria, and most of the illnesses that we have in aquarium fish from bacteria come from gram-negative type bacteria. So it might not be as effective, but if you have issues whenever you bring in new bettas or guppies, it might be worth trying. Whenever you can, though, I'd have a separate tank, like your little hospital tank or whatever, so you can experiment, learn, and get to know these chemicals and their impact. I would just hate for someone to go to their nice show tank or whatever, all planted, nice settled ecosystem, put in medications, hoping to help their fish, and end up crashing the whole environment. You can get big issues. You can get the whole cycle crashing. You can get ammonia spikes like crazy. You can kill off so many bacteria and protozoans that you cause a vast shock to the whole system. There's lots of things that can happen. So if you're going to prophylactically treat with medication, especially antibiotics, I would highly recommend a hospital tank. And if you're going to do anti-parasite medications that kill protozoans, so these are ICX does that, metronidazole does that, praziquantel does that. Most of them do. I would decrease your decaying bioload as much as you can, all the mold and all the dirty stuff out. The reason is when you do that, you're removing a lot of those protozoans, a lot of those bacteria. So you're making it so that when you put in the medicine that kills protozoans, you're going to have less die-off in the tank, which will be less likely to cause a big ammonia spike or other shock to the system. So there's some things I've learned over the years of how to kind of mitigate the effect that medicines have on our fish, but there's still I'm not a veterinarian, so but that's the best way I've found to do it in my limited experience and limited knowledge, and be totally unqualified to diagnose or prescribe or anything like that, is have a separate tank to do it in so you can learn without wiping out your nice big show tank. Anyway, that's my thoughts, Crown Tail Half Moon. Leo Contreras, get Gills any German black rams? We don't have any. Our water system is not warm enough to do that. Although there is one tank in the garage that is getting pretty warm because we set up two new racks in the garage. We just needed the space so bad. And one of the tanks is up top and right under one of the vents from the heating system. So that one's starting to sit at about 83 degrees. If it stays there long term, maybe I can get some rams and put them up in there. It's a thought. Okay, where are we? Thai Aquatics. Suggestion. Your site lists fish by species. Great for knowledgeable buyers, but you might consider a section that lists by recommended tank size and water column level, better for newbies. So I appreciate the thought, Ty. I'm never going to do recommended tank size. What we do instead is we try to talk about the fish's needs. Like this is a large fish, but it's slow and sedate, so it doesn't need as much space as a really active fish, and let the person decide. It gets this big, it's super fast, I guess I better get a big tank. The problem with listing tank sizes is I think it gets dogmatic. I think there's a lot of disagreement about that, and I think it's something people need to put some thought into. I think it's a bit of a cop-out to just look and be like, oh, it says 10 gallon, there goes the Oscar, right? Or whatever. Oscar is just a prime example of what happens sometimes. And obviously that tank size, in my opinion, is super wrong for that fish, but tank size is not something we're going to do. Water column level, maybe, but again, I really think people need to do their research before they buy a fish. If you're buying a fish and you don't even know that it belongs on the bottom of the tank, that's on you. I'm not saying you, Ty, naughty Ty. I'm saying whoever did that, right? And, when you're a noob and learning, I get it, but I can't be all things to all people. I can't be Seriously Fish and Fish Base and all these informational sites and a store. The moment I try to be an informational site, I have to list all the information. If I miss something, that's bad. So that's kind of how we handle it. But I appreciate the thought. I hear you, but we've actually decided not to do that. We put some thought into it. Okay, where are we at? Okay, we've got 4 minutes. We can do it. Oh, chat jumped. No, go fast, fast, fast. Looking for the next one. Okay, hang on. Mr. Maris, I love you. Oh, I love you too. Rita R., a little while ago you mentioned some place that sells bettas. Could you share those names again, please? Yeah, so KG Tropicals. You can also find them at keepfishkeeping.com, I think. Simply Betta is another one. And then for wild type bettas, there's, what's it called? Is it called Blackwater? There's a site that specializes in wild type bettas, but I've forgotten the name, Rita, I'm sorry. But I started KG Tropicals. And anyone here, if you sell bettas, and I don't mean flip bettas, I mean you take care of bettas, maybe breed them and sell them. If you would chime in, let Rita know. That's fine. 3 minutes. We got one done. Let's get another one. Baron Von Yinzer. How will the Roseline, Denison Barbs do in a tank with Angelfish? I've done that combo and they did great. I have been wanting some since seeing them in your background, and they are on my wish list. That's fine. Yeah, in my experience, it worked great. I don't know all the details of everything about your tank. Was this a 75 gallon? I think they'd probably be okay. Again, though, I don't know. Do you have a dozen rainbow fish in there? If you do, that tank's full, in my opinion. Again, not to be dogmatic. But as far as will they get along, can you keep them together? Yes, without knowing the specifics of your setup. Now, I will say, anytime you put a new fish in with an angelfish or another cichlid, it helps to turn off the lights, maybe distract the angelfish with food or something, and then release the new fish, because angelfish and lots of other fish, as soon as a brand new fish goes in, if the brand new fish is darting around, confused like they can do when they very first go in a tank, they don't always do that, but sometimes they do. that is a signal for those fish to just go pick on it, right? And that could be a stressful entrance to a new home. So I would suggest if you do put something else in there that you kind of distract the current fish, especially angelfish. Lots of fish do this though. Rainbow fish do it as well. Most fish will. And then give the guys a chance on the corner with the lights off where maybe they aren't seen as well. You know, buy some hiding spots, let them go so their entrance is less stressful. Kayla's Aquatics and Exotics. Do you have an updated forthcoming quarantine vid? I'm thinking about that, Bob. I want to do one. Sorry about the sniffles. This is so gross. Oh, yuck. But I'm still fine-tuning it. We're working with the aquatic veterinarian. We're learning more. The other thing is we're about to go into the warehouse. And with that flow-through system, that might change some realities for us. So it's not settled enough right now, I think, to do a video that I'd be confident in yet. But yes, it's something that I do plan to do. And when I do it, I'll talk about, how I did it in this situation and then in this situation, and now that we're here, we're doing it this way, and give people different scenarios that they might find themselves in or be able to pull from. So I do want to do something about that. It's 8:30. We be done. All right, folks, we're done. I do want to thank my moderators for being here. I do want to, what do we got? 162. That didn't drop too far. That's not too bad. From 188 to 162, not too bad. Anyway, I want to thank my moderators for being here and doing what they do every week. Thank you. Appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks to everyone that dropped money on the table. Hey, we got another one. Danikin Aquatics throwing down $5. Saying, great stream as always, Dan. Thanks, brother. Right back at you. Danny and Kenny E. Appreciate you both. And thanks for the super chat. From you and everyone else that left the money on the table. It's super helpful. We're a startup. And it all goes back into building the dream, getting that warehouse going, getting everything we need, building up, I can't wait to get our new team member here and going. It's going to be so helpful. I'll finally be able, I hope, to have time to make videos. I can't wait. Anyway, thanks to everyone that was lively in the chat, had questions and comments, and participated. Hail the Lurker Nation. Everyone watching a replay, thanks for watching. And to you listening to the podcast, thanks for listening. We'll be back the same bat time, same bat channel next week. Until then, I hope you have a good week, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.